Untitled, Project. Trump didn't pick Guyana by accident. He picked it because Guyana suddenly became one of the fastest-growing oil countries on Earth. Thing number one, Trump attacked Guyana's oil contracts. He said the deals signed with foreign oil companies were bad deals for the Guyanese people. What does that really mean? It means Trump believes Guyana gave away too much oil for too little money. When a U.S. president says this publicly, it does two things. First, it weakens Guyana's position with oil companies. Second, it opens the door for American companies to demand new contracts. In simple words, Trump is saying, your oil deal is weak, and we can fix it. But fixing it usually means more profit for U.S. firms, not Guyana. Thing number two, Trump accused Guyana of letting China get too close. He warned that China is using oil-rich countries to expand influence in the Caribbean. This is not about Guyana alone. This is about U.S. versus China. If Guyana buys Chinese equipment, builds Chinese ports, or signs Chinese loans, Trump sees that as China entering America's backyard. So by calling out Guyana, Trump sent a signal: stay with Washington or face pressure. That instantly turned Guyana into a pawn in a global power game. Thing number three, Trump pushed for a security review with Guyana. He questioned whether Guyana's military cooperation with the U.S. should continue as normal. Why is this serious? Because Guyana sits next to Venezuela, a country America openly fights with. Guyana depends on U.S. security support to protect its oil fields and borders. So when Trump says, review security, he is really saying, your protection depends on your loyalty. That's not friendship, that's leverage. Thing number four, Trump hinted at trade pressure. He said oil-rich countries that don't play fair should not enjoy easy access to U.S. markets. Guyana exports goods to the U.S. Oil money flows through U.S. banks. Shipping routes depend on U.S. trade rules. So one sentence from Trump can mean higher taxes on exports, slower trade approvals, and nervous investors. It's not a sanction. It's a warning before the sanction. Thing number five, Trump dragged Guyana into the Venezuela conflict. He brought back the border dispute and said Guyana's oil could increase tensions. This is dangerous because Venezuela already claims part of Guyana's territory. Now, Trump is linking oil with conflict. That tells the world, Guyana is not just rich, it is risky. And when a country looks risky, investors slow down. Insurance costs go up. Military attention increases. Guyana didn't ask for this spotlight, but Trump put it there. Thing number six, Trump criticized Guyana's leaders directly. He said oil money is being handled by politicians who don't understand power. That is not about policy. That is about control. When Trump attacks leadership, he weakens trust in the government. People start asking, are our leaders capable? Are they protecting us? Or are they being played? This kind of statement creates pressure inside the country, not just from outside. It divides opinion, and division makes countries easier to influence. Thing number seven, Trump pushed U.S. companies to renegotiate oil terms. He encouraged American firms to demand better conditions in Guyana's oil sector. That means lower royalties for Guyana, longer contracts for companies, and more control by foreign corporations. Guyana becomes rich on paper, but less powerful in reality. Because if your oil depends on foreign firms, and your security depends on foreign armies, and your trade depends on foreign markets, then your oil is yours, but your future is not fully yours. The pressure didn't stop at oil and security. Trump widened the net. Thing number eight, visa bans were quietly placed on the table. Trump signaled that officials connected to corruption or bad oil decisions could face U.S. visa restrictions. That may sound small. It's not. For many politicians and elites, the U.S. is where families travel, study, bank, and invest. A visa ban isn't just travel trouble, it's personal pressure. It says, we might not touch your country yet, but we can touch your lifestyle. And that kind of pressure makes leaders rethink their alliances very fast. Thing number 9. Trump told Caribbean leaders Guyana must choose a side. This was one of the clearest signals. Neutrality is no longer acceptable. Trump's message was simple. If Guyana leans toward China, the U.S. will lean away from Guyana. Small countries survive by balancing big powers. But Trump made balance look like betrayal. Now Guyana faces a dangerous choice: economic deals with China, or security and political support from America. Either way, someone gets angry. Thing number 10. Trump attacked Guyana's green image. Guyana promotes itself as a country that protects forests while developing oil. Trump dismissed that argument. He said oil producers can't hide behind environmental talk while pumping billions. Why does this matter? Because Guyana's global reputation depends on being seen as a responsible oil nation. Thing number 11. Trump encouraged U.S. banks to be careful with Guyana. That one word, careful, is powerful. Banks hate risk. When political tension rises, loans slow down. Oil projects need billions in financing. If banks hesitate, projects delay. If projects delay, revenue slows. Thing number 12. Trump demanded more oil transparency. He said Guyana's oil revenue should be fully audited and monitored internationally. Sounds fair, right? But in politics, transparency demands often mean, we don't trust your system. That creates suspicion around leadership. Thing number 13. Trump warned about foreign intelligence activity in Guyana. He suggested that rival nations might be using ports and infrastructure projects for spying. Now Guyana is no longer just an oil story. It becomes a security hotspot. When intelligence concerns enter the conversation, military attention follows. Thing number 14. Trump warned that fast oil wealth can create chaos. He said countries that grow rich too quickly often face corruption, unrest, and instability. Thing number 15. Trump turned Guyana into an example for the world. This was the biggest move of all. He didn't focus on giant oil states. He focused on a small, fast-growing one.